Hey Body Buds, I'm Kristy Jo, and today I want to tell you about this past week, moving from 5 weeks out to 4 weeks out for my next figure competition. Whew, it was a rough week. I feel like I say that every week. So hopefully those of you who are following these, you know contest prep is not easy. And it definitely is something where we need to be able to have a why. Why are we doing this? Because if you don't have a solid why, you're going to give up and crash and burn. So anyone that's new to this, just know that. Like, you can't just do it to be like, oh, I want to look good. No, you've got to have compelling reason. What is my why this time? My why is, I would love to go and win and get a pro card, right? Of course, I'm not gonna lie. But more than that, I've thought about this week. The joy for me is in looking back at who I used to be and looking at my physique, and just from a very analytical standpoint, that I have taken a physique that used to weigh 155 pounds and probably 23% body fat, whittle it down, get down to 140 pounds, step on stage for the very first time in 2012. And then over the past 3 years and all the different competitions and training and approaches that I have done to now be whittling down the body to see the new physique that I have built and honed and developed with patience. And that is the biggest, it's like a tickle. It's like it's so exciting because when you become a body sculptor, bodybuilder, whatever. I like body sculptor for some reason because I'm never going to get huge. I'm a natural athlete, but I'm going to get freaking like as proportionate, symmetrical as I can, right? But when you take on that mindset, you realize what a long process it is. You accept the fact that your final idea of where you want to be is not 6 weeks out or 12 weeks out. It's actually years out. And I remember when I very first started, that there was a bodybuilder I had consulted, and he had actually done my very first posing lesson for my competition. And he said, you know, I think your physique is about 2 to 3 to 4 years out from being really, really, really competitive. And I just took it with a grain of salt and said, okay, and I'm going to work my butt off and we're going to get there. And so I feel like I'm closer. I'm not yet where I want to be, but it's a treat for me to be unveiling the hard work. I just want to tell you about some of the things I experienced this past week. So before last week, I was eating 100 grams of carbs a day. And then we flipped, I say we, my coach and I, we decided that I know my body, I'm an O blood type. I do function better on fats. Knowing this and having experimented with my body multiple times, which I want to preface this because I don't want anyone watching this video to think, oh, Kristy's shredding and following this, so that means I should. No! Like, we got to figure out the right thing for each individual, and it's different for everyone. So for me, it was right to flip me into ketosis. So what is ketosis? That is where we drop the carbohydrates down to about 30 to 40 grams of carbs in order to get the brain. So when you eat carbohydrates, okay, it breaks down into glucose. Glucose gets actively used if it's needed at the time. If not, it's stored as glycogen, whether in the muscles or in the liver. So for 4 to 5 days getting through all of that storage of the glycogen, because your body functions off of glucose, so you're eliminating that. And then once your body realizes there's no more glucose coming in the body, then it's like, oh, we got to produce something for the brain. So it flips into a new system and it produces ketone bodies, and your brain can then function off of that. But in that switchover, there's a lot of orneriness, there's a lot of fatigue. Very tough, and I did hit my wall Thursday, and in fact I posted a funny little video for Team Bod Beast on our Facebook page, and I was not a happy camper. In the video I was like, I want to tear the sides off the cars next to me, and I knew, because I know the science of it, I knew exactly what was happening, so I could supplement, I could do those things that would help me. So I did, go home, make sure I had my magnesium, make sure I had my St. John's wort is a big one for the moodiness. When you're on low carb, you've got to be doing St. John's wort. I take 4 capsules. It recommends 1, but it's a herbal thing, so it's not like you can overdo it. But, oh, and I need to put that out there for St. John's wort. Don't take it if you're on an antidepressant, a prescribed antidepressant. Those don't go well together. So anyway, it was big, but once I got through that wall, I seemed to do okay. So now my body is in ketosis. The interesting thing is I do blood tests. I have my little, I'm kind of a scientist nerd. So I test my blood sugar. I prick my finger and test my blood to make sure that my blood sugar is where it's supposed to be. Ketone strips, you can pee on them and test that your body's producing ketones. You can also tell by your breath. Your breath will be a little bit more rank because your body is producing these ketones. So those are a few signs to make sure that you are in this scientific process. So I do go ahead and make sure that I am doing things right. So that means I am limited very much in the foods I eat. And so at this point, I really just eat spinach as my vegetable, and I eat tilapia, chicken, egg whites, protein powder. But even protein powder, it's not every day. I do it when I need something sweet. Otherwise, I'm using egg whites for my protein. Fats, I'm eating things like coconut butter, almonds, coconut oil, egg yolk, no avocado, too high in carbs. Once in a while, I'll let myself have some black almonds, or all black almonds. What are those? Black olives. What other fats? Yeah, that's about it. That's what my diet consists of. You just heard it. So the thing is, and I'd like to say this, contest prep is where you give yourself license for a time, and every contest prep is different. Notice I'm 4 weeks out. We're in the hardcore time. Do I want someone being this hardcore 16 weeks out, 12 weeks out? No, you're going to burn out. I'm nervous about myself burning out, and I've got 4 weeks to hang on. And I told my coach that today in my accountability report. I was like, you know, let's really closely monitor, because the last thing you want to do is break mentally, because this is rough what we're on. So anyway, so you give yourself license for a time to be in diet mode. Okay, and you kind of do have to be in that mindset. Does it impact my social environment? Yeah. I don't go out to eat. And if I do, and I tell people, I say, I am so happy to come with you, but I am close enough to my competition, I'll be eating out of my Tupperware. Where in normal lifestyle, and for those of you living the Power Foods lifestyle, I wouldn't teach you to be that anal about it, right? I would teach you, no, learn your principles and order strategically. Okay, so we've got to find that intensity level that you're willing to do. And the beauty of being able to dial into diet mode is that I know where my fallback is, and it's Power Foods lifestyle. So to me, Power Foods lifestyle has not been ever restrictive. Power Foods lifestyle has been freedom. And maybe if some of you out there, just a thought, if feel that Power Foods lifestyle is restrictive, maybe try even limiting your foods further to diet mode for a week or two, and then let yourself go into full Power Foods lifestyle and feel what a freedom it is. Okay, so everything is perspective. So with the mood swing, the St. John's wort, I really did want to cover that. High intensity interval training sessions, these are critical because I've come to find that my approaches haven't been as hardcore as I thought the past 6 months. You know, like I go in, I do the work, I work hard. Yes, harder than the average person. That doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm capable of, what I know I'm capable of. And this week, I stepped up my game, and I had to have some pretty deep heart-to-hearts with myself. Some of you may have seen on Facebook, I posted like when you're in the middle of a workout and you feel yourself just kind of bumming out a little bit. And that happened to me yesterday. And I very, very strongly considered changing my workout because it was just too hard and I just didn't want to do it. It was too much pain, too much effort, just too many sets, you know what I mean? I was taking the wussy way out. And I finally sat there and I just looked like I was on the decline leg press, and I just sat up and I just thought, what on earth is going on? Like, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Pain? Are you afraid of pushing? Are you afraid that, oh, heaven forbid, you walk out of here drenched in sweat? What are you afraid of? And I took a minute, put my legs down off the platform, and I just sat there. I said, you better get your stuff together. And you better figure this out, because you're not leaving this gym till this workout is done. So you figure out how to bring your brain and meet your body and accomplish this task, because you refuse to be someone that gives up. And after this, I looked at some quotes and I just really thought, what do you want? Do you want to be a halfway person? Do you want that to be your character throughout your whole life? Do you want to always take the easy way out? No. So you do the workout, and you not only do it, you freaking kill it. And I lit a fire into my butt and I finished that workout. It felt amazing. But that was a big triumph because that was not what I wanted to do. And I think we all deal with that from time to time. Another thing I'd like to talk about is, does it get hard? Because I do. I feel like I wake up every day and I do see thinner skin, less fat, a little bit more, getting closer and closer to that ultimate shredded appearance. And it is fun to see. But on the other hand, it's also, we have to be careful of the, am I going to be ready? Am I going to be ready? Am I going to be lean enough? And so I really have been making an extra effort to not do the ab check every time, you know, I use the restroom or change, covering up. I mean, honestly, I dress like this most of the time. Like, I'm not chilling, looking at my muscles all the time, wearing a skirt. I mean, today's Sunday and everything, but I just feel that that's a huge part of protecting your mindset when you are working on a new approach, is stop living for your body. Do what you got to do. Focus on the behavior. Let the results fall where they may. But if we hyper focus on it here, that's where we sabotage. That's where we get so consumed that it destroys our lives because it's all that runs in our thoughts. So I'm really being aware of that and working on that. And another thing, because I've competed so many times, that I'm aware of what happens to me is I tend to look at my shredding body and I look at, you know, where my body was last month or the month before. And there sometimes is some anger and a little bit of frustration towards myself. Like, I can't believe you would let your body look like that. Like, how disgusting. Like, those thoughts come initially, but because I work on reframing those thoughts, like I teach you guys, and especially if you've seen the Eliminating Self-Doubt webinar, if you haven't, I'd encourage you to go download that. It's on my website on the product section. It's powerful in teaching your brain how to handle a lot of these different thoughts. And so the negative thought comes in, but then you quickly recognize it and reframe it. So how it works for me is, oh, I can't believe you let yourself look like that. But, and this is where the reframing comes in, but I was purposely giving myself balance and working on developing the physique, which I needed excess calories for. I needed a little bit more body fat percentage. So it is okay. And I forgive myself for not only having these mean thoughts about myself, but for any less than perfection that I'm now denigrating myself for. I forgive myself and I let it go. And today I am my best self. So anything in the past, irrelevant. And that's a very powerful thing. So I wanted to share that with each of you. Sleep, I think, is my biggest flaw right now. I'm getting about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I do need more. My coach challenged me to take a nap during the day, which I'm going to try really hard to do. We'll see. So none of my clients, if you're watching this, don't schedule with me from 1 to 1:30 every day. I'm going to try and shut down and take a little cat nap, but we'll see. I've never slept in my life a lot, so it's so like, I've just always just been go, 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 do it, get what needs to be done. I feel guilty if I'm like, you know, taking time to, heaven forbid, relax, which I've been challenged to do that the rest of this evening after I film this. So I'm going to kind of unplug for a little bit, do some journaling, some meditation, not writing lists, not working on anything, not taking pictures of my food. That's going to be hard. So, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the high intensity interval training. So I'm actually only doing 3 HIIT sessions per week. So I have 2, it's like 10 to 20 minutes. It kind of depends. Like I think, yeah, this is bad. Hopefully my coach doesn't watch this, right? But I tend to do like 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll kind of go like 30-second, everything I've got, like I'm on the bike, just plow in, and then I will just dead stop and just hang out for like a minute. And I'll do another 30 seconds, then stop, just dead stop, just breathing. So fulfill about 15 to 20 minutes of that. And then there's something called Wingate testing that she has put me on. So it's only 5 minutes. It's only 5 minutes. Oh, believe me, it's enough. So it's 20 seconds of normal pedaling. So I do it on the bike. And then it's 20 seconds of almost threshold pedaling. So I take the resistance up, my speed. So for me, I do speed 80 RPM, 100 RPM, 120 RPM. My resistance is 12, 14, 16. So the final 20 seconds of every minute is at resistance 16, 120 RPM. If you don't ride the bike, it's hard. Okay, that's like deathly. So, and I just like strive to keep that number at around 120. So after 5 minutes, you're shot. So it's great. Those high intensity intervals training sessions are really what's needed to just get into that adipose tissue, just trying to strip down. I am in strategic starvation mode. That's what contest prep is. It's strategic because you're trying to hold on to as much possible, or as much muscle as possible. And it's starvation because, yeah, you're limited in your foods. Like, yeah. And it's not that you're deprived, because do you have enough to subsist on? Like, you're not dying? Absolutely. So we have to be careful of that. And it's not an eating disorder. I will rail for an hour on anybody who says this is like an eating disorder. I will tell you how this is more healthy than how most people eat. And I know if you're watching this, you're a supporter, and thank you. So, but it's a sticky topic. I had someone say that once to one of my competitors, and I about lost it. So who are you to say what an eating disorder is? Because you don't even know her approach. You don't know what we're doing with her mindset. You don't know where, like, her strategic week by week progression. So be very careful about judging people who do this. Like, unless you know their full on game plan, 12 to 16 weeks, shut your yapper. You know, because for all you know, it could have been very systematically trained. And just because it's not what you think is balanced and not extreme doesn't mean that it's not for other people. Sorry, it's not. Like, our own opinions don't run this world. Once we realize that, we accept other people and stop being so freaking judgmental. So, whoa, little rant there. End of that. Anyway, it just... Thankfully, I have gotten through this phase where people, I feel, judge me for what I do. I feel like I've gotten to a point of balance, and I've been able to portray that balance, that people don't worry about me anymore. But when I see other people pointing fingers and judging others that perhaps I have some, you know, correlation or some kind of a relationship with, whether I'm their coach, whether I'm their friend, oh yeah, I'm going to get a little bit fiery. So, one other thing I got that has been really nice. This is eucalyptus. I found this at Sprouts, and I have just been kind of putting this on my wrists, just while I work, and it's been helping, just because I'm kind of a fire and ice type of person. I'm either like super just like relaxed, or I'm like, whew. So this has just been helping me sometimes dim down that little fire, and it's been great. So eucalyptus is wonderful. I also use lavender a lot under my nose. And I think that's all for giving you this heads up. I took my progress photos this morning, put them side by side last week. They're very distinguishable difference. Sent them to my coach, sent them to one of my other friends, and I'm very excited. If I can keep this focus going for weeks, it's going to be a pretty powerful physique coming in there. So help me stay focused. So I gotta go eat another meal, unplug. I'm gonna do the whole meditation journaling thing. I hope you have set your goals for this next week. I hope you got something out of this that perhaps would help you with the mental discipline, the focus. Remembering we all have different degrees of goals. So just take the principles and apply them to your life. And I hope that you have an amazing day.